As we begin, you will come to child's pose. So big toes together, knees apart, forehead on the ground. Just outstretch your arms in front of you and begin to rock your weight side to side in the hips, allowing the breath to move you. So inhale, shift one direction. Exhale, shift back the opposite direction. You know, we play with these playlists on Pandora, so if you're feeling the music, feel free to go with it. And as you rock your way a little side to side, find a moment where you can come to stillness, resting your forehead down. Press into your fingertips, push the floor forward and sink your hips back toward the heels. And then on your next exhalation, pull yourself up into table pose. So table pose is hands and knees. Our hands are directly beneath our shoulders. Our knees are directly beneath our hips. And we'll exhale, belly button towards spine, chin toward chest, round. And inhale, soften. Head and tail lifts, belly drops toward the earth. A couple of times through that easing breath to move you between both poses. Once more each direction. And then step your right foot back behind you with a flexed foot. Place the ball of the foot on the floor, push the floor forward, and stretch back into that calf. Gonna get our legs awake for all of our balance poses. And now on your next exhalation, draw your belly button towards your spine, pull that knee up toward the nose and round. Inhale, step that right foot back out behind you, push the floor forward, stretch it out. Exhale, draw the knee up toward the nose, round. Inhale, step that foot back, press out through the heel, push the floor forward, and then one last time, knee toward nose, round. If you feel comfortable doing so, pick up your left hand and wrap it around the front of the right shin. Hug it in nice and tight. Inhale, release. Rock your weight side to side. From here, extend your right leg out behind you, left arm forward. So that same leg you're just stretching out, reach it out behind you in a balance. Once you get here, tuck your chin in toward your chest, elongating the back of the neck. So it's not a total tucking down, but it's just enough to keep the spine nice and long. And then exhale, reach the left hand around for the right ankle. Taking a hold, press the foot into the hand into the foot, lift the right thigh open across the left shoulder, root down into the right hand. Maybe. If they don't come together, it's okay. Holding that arm and leg up is enough. On your next exhalation, we'll release. Left hand down, right knee down, rock your weight a little side to side, sink back into child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart, forehead rests. This time, bring your hands together right behind your head. Press down into the elbows and stretch out from the elbows to the armpits. Inhale, reach forward through the hands, rise up into table. Step the left foot out behind you, push the floor forward, stretch out that left calf. Press the floor forward with the hands, push the ball of the left foot into the ground. And then when you're ready to exhale, knee toward nose, round. Inhale, extend it out, press the foot into the floor, push the floor forward with the hands for a big stretch in the calf and hamstring. Exhale, drop forward. Inhale, step it out, stretch. Exhale one more time, draw the knees in and tuck the nose toward the knee. Right hand reaches to the bottom of the shin, maybe, maybe not. Hug it up. Release the weight of the head. And extend that knee back to the ground. Rock your weight a little side to side. We'll lift the right hand, left leg. Reach out. This is plenty. You can stay right here. There's a lot of balance. Then just notice from the crown of your head through that back foot, this long line of energy that we lose when our chin starts to jut forward. That's why we tuck the chin under, reach the crown of the head forward. Then reach your right hand around to take a hold maybe of that left ankle. Open up across the right shoulder, lifting the shoulder toward the ceiling. Flex the back foot, open the toes. Push the ankle into the hand hit the ankle. Lift that thigh and breathe. And on your next exhalation, we'll unwind. Hand and knee to the ground. From here, turn the toes under, walk your hands forward 3 or 4 inches, downward dog. Allow your head to hang. Pedal out any tension in the legs. Bending one knee and then the other. Yeah, just like that, good job. Take your time, no rush here. And then come up high onto your balls of your feet, your tiptoes, and then sink your heels. Press your torso back towards your thighs. Where's your breath? Smooth in, smooth out. Let go of all the weight of your head. Yeah, just like that, yep. Otherwise, we're just gonna put some stress on our neck. So now bend both knees, press your torso back towards your thighs. Bend your knees a lot, and then press your torso back towards your thighs. Yep, just like that. Hold that for just one breath. And then exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale your right leg high into the sky, really, really, really high, and then sweep it up between the hands. Lunge. Help it out if you need to, absolutely. Taking your time, reach forward through the crown of the head. Let's establish both feet on the ground first. Think about where your right hip crease is. Take your right thumb and tuck it into your right hip crease. And this is not a forcing motion, but just gently shift the right hip back. Just feel into that. There's a little bit of space there usually. We can make some adjustment. Draw the right hip back. Hand can come back to the ground. Left knee comes to the ground. Rise up in a low lunge. Straight up and down at first, and then let's exhale our hands to our heart. I'm sorry, to our thigh. Don't touch our heart too, that's a good thigh. And then we're going to just shift our hips forward, giving a big stretch where in front of the left thigh. Maybe you're wringing out the right hip crease. See where you're feeling that. Take a pause here. Roll the shoulders back. Look up. Maybe adding a little bit of a back bend. Maybe a little more as you allow yourself to explore, stretch. And then exhaling, hands to the ground. Plank pose. Plank pose can always be with knees down if you like, or full on. But if you're practicing up in the fullness of plank, keep the crown of the head all the way to the heels in one line of energy. So one more breath here. Exhaling, belly button towards spine. And then inhale, shift forward on the toes. Exhale, bend the elbows, slow motion, lower all the way to the ground. Uncurl the toes, and we'll bring our hands out wide for a wide cobra. Tuck the chin toward the chest at first, root down into the fingertips, and then as you begin to press into the hands, straightening the arms, uncurl the neck so you can look straight forward. Roll your shoulders back. And then on exhalation, slow motion, full exhale, lower all the way back down. Inhale, slow motion, rise. Exhale, slow motion, return. Just one more like that. And exhaling down. Slide the hands next to the chest. Now this is going to be a lot of back bends in a row, so be careful with you. Pushing down into the floor. Press up to the tops of the feet for upward dog. Roll your shoulders back. Roll your shoulders back even more. Yeah, just like that. Take that pressure off. And then when you're ready, we'll roll through the toes, down dog. Inhale up high to the tiptoes, stretching out the feet. Lift your sits bones as you rise up. Press your torso back towards your thighs. Let go of all the weight of your head. And then exhale, soften the heels down. And then once more, bend your knees a lot. Still push your torso back towards your thighs. And then easy does it, straighten the legs. Left leg in the sky. Exhale, left foot up between the hands. Pausing here, left thumb tucks into left hip crease, shift the hip crease back just slightly. And then draw the right knee to the ground, rising up in the low lunge. Straight up and down at first. And then we'll sweep the hands to the thigh, right above the knee. Roll the shoulders back to start off with, so we're ready to go. And then begin to shift the hips forward and explore into this stretch for the legs and find your edge. Remember, we remove competition, we remove expectation, we remove judgment. So make each pose your own. And once we've arrived here at the depth of the stretch, maybe add the little back bend, beginning to lift the heart even more, maybe looking up. Inhale, draw the hands back to the ground and step back to plank pose. So from plank pose, let's roll our heels to the right, lift the left hand to the sky. Your right knee can come to the ground if you need to in this modification for side plank. Keep the right knee down if we like. Reaching up through the left hand, rooting down through the right hand, open across the heart. One more breath. Exhale, left hand to the ground. In plank pose, fire it up, draw your lower belly in and up, press into your feet, pull the floor together between the feet. Just like before, the chin tucks in slightly to elongate the back of the neck. With each exhalation, draw the belly button tight in toward the spine. With each inhalation, soften. Exhale, heels over to the left, right hand up to the sky. You can look down at that left hand or up at the right hand, depending on where the balance is for you today or where the challenge is. And find your edge. And again, that left knee can be on the ground if necessary. On your next exhalation, we'll spin that right hand back to the ground. Plank pose. As you're ready, exhale your right forearm to the ground. Left forearm to the ground. Who just said, oh no, in their heads. Here we are in dolphin plank. And so your knees can come to the ground, and it's perfectly lovely. We're still turning on our core as long as we don't walk our knees forward too far. So if you feel your core turn off, you know that you've come out of the pose. So if you want your knees down, just make sure they stay back, drop right out of dolphin plank. Just a couple more breaths here, I promise. Roll the heels to the left, right hand to the sky. Reach your right arm up and over the head. Stretching out the whole right side body. And then float that right arm back up to the sky, down toward the right hip, and then back around to the mat. Forearm. Roll to the right. Left arm reaches. Establish the pose and then sweep the left arm up and overhead. Stretch it out. Sweep that arm back up and around to the back. Dolphin plank. Press into the feet, pull the floor together between the feet. Exhale when you're ready. Sink the hips to the ground. Roll the shoulders back, tuck in to the tops of the feet, and rooting the hands down, roll the shoulders back. So take a moment, dip down, roll your shoulders up toward your jawline and feel that crunching in the neck. We want to not do this in a lot of our life, and we do it with so many things that we do. So inside of yoga pose is a great place to practice it. Press down into the hands, let your chin drop toward your chest, and then expand that space between the scapulas, stretch out from shoulder tip to shoulder tip, and then think about where your pubis is on the ground and make a nice arc up through the crown of the head. All the way across the front body. Pull the back back towards you, opening more across the heart or more across the shoulders, and then as you're ready, we'll sink down. Send your right arm out along the ground, roll your right ear towards your right bicep. So we're gonna get our legs really stretched out before we go where we're going today. So once we roll to our sides, here on biceps. So you might notice that with your legs stacked, you might feel like you're gonna fall over. So it might feel good to you to stagger your feet, moving your right foot back behind you a little bit, your left foot in front of you a little bit, just to make a wider foundation. And if this is okay for you, once you're ready, we'll lift the head. Tuck the hand behind the nape of the neck. The heel of the hand is right at the base of the skull, and the fingers point toward the shoulders. Bend the left knee and reach down for your left big toe with your left hand. Now press your pelvis forward slightly. Draw your lower belly in and up. You can stay right here, baby. This is plenty. If you have a strap, you can wrap that around the foot. If not, just begin to straighten the leg slightly, maybe just a little. Play with straightening that leg all the way. You see what's there for you today. Draw the left shoulder back and down. And we're looking up at an angle. Stay for a couple more breaths, pulling back on the leg to find your edge. One more breath. Exhale, release, roll onto the belly. Release the arms from behind the head. Reach your arms all the way forward, like you're Superman. Exhale, belly button toward the spine. Lift the arms, lift the legs. Lift from the hips so legs are straight. Maybe you need to bend on that spine. Lift it all the way as high as possible. And then exhale, sink. Tuck the chin in. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, lift up once more. And sink. One more time, lift up. On exhale, sink. Spin that left arm way forward. Reach out through the left fingertips. Roll on to the left side. Pause here, checking in with your balance in the side body. Decide if you want to stagger your legs or not. And then we'll lift the head, tucking that hand beneath the head. Reach back for the right foot. If you need to bend that bottom knee, that's perfect too. And then inhale, begin to slow motion straighten the leg. Finding your edge. Press the pelvis forward slightly. Keeping the knee as bent as necessary. Bottom knee, top knee, whatever you need. And then find your edge. Even with a bent knee, you can find your edge. And you may fall out of it, and that's okay. Gently come back. Two more breaths here. Exhale, release that leg, rolling back onto the belly. This time, place your palms next to your hips, back to the hands on the floor, palms face up. Roll the shoulders up, lift the chest, lift the hands like you're holding a platter of something lovely, then lift the legs from the insertions of femurs all the way through the feet. Locust pose. One more breath. Exhale, release. Now, clasp the hands on the low back, tuck the chin toward the chest slightly, and then begin to pull the knuckles toward the heels and then lift the head along with the back bend, lift the legs. Bound locust. One more breath. Now exhaling, reach back for a foot and another foot. And then parallel the shins, flex the feet, push the feet into the hands into the feet. Bow. Parallel the thighs. Breathe. And exhale, release. Hands come next to the chest. One more back bend, upward dog. Rolling into the tops of the feet, shoulders roll back. So your arms are way forward, roll them back. Roll through toes, down dog. So that's a downward dog after a lot of back bends, so be careful with you, making your way there. No rush. Now wag your tail side to side. Slow motion, easy does it. Yeah, just like that. Pedal out any residual tension in the body, in the legs. And then, as you're ready, let's float that right foot up into the sky. Bend the knee and stack the hip this time. Sink your left heel even more. Exhale, wind your right knee towards your right elbow, coming into plank with the elbow tapped to knee. Inhale, send that right leg straight back up into the sky, straight up this time. And right foot comes to the ground between the hands. From here, let's draw that left knee to the ground once more. Straighten out the front leg, pouring out over it in half monkey. So if you have any knee issues, it can feel good to fold your mat over so for a little more cushion under that left knee. And once you get here, you can root your hands into the ground, push the floor forward, broadening the space between the scapulas as you pour your heart forward toward this right foot. Feel free to keep a bend in the knee as much as you need to be here. Smooth out the breath. Root into your right heel and your left knee and drag them toward each other. On your next exhalation, roll into the whole right foot. Lift the left knee and walk your hands around to the long edge of the mat for a wide angle forward fold. Release the weight at the head. Root the hands on the ground, push the floor forward. Soften your knees, both. Bend them a couple of inches, and then straighten the legs. Bend the knees a couple of inches, and straighten. Once more, bend, and straighten. And from this going inward shape, this introspective shape, root your hands to the ground, rise halfway. Heel and toe your feet maybe once or twice a little closer just to gain a little more control over the legs. And then bring the hands to the hips. Soften your knees and rise up in a five-pointed star. Take up some space, moving outward. Take a deep breath in. And then wrap the hands around behind the back to clasp, rolling the shoulders open, lift the heart, lift the gaze, and we'll go back inward. Exhale, forward fold. Inward though with an open heart. As our hands are clasped and the heart is opening. Crown of the head releases toward the earth. And then on your exhalation, bend your right knee, shift over toward the right, stretching out that left leg. Exhale to center, over toward the left, stretching out the right leg. And when you're ready, release the hands to the ground, coming back into center. Walk the hands around the right foot. Lengthen from the back heel through the crown. Step your right foot back into plank. Pausing in plank pose. You can stay right here. This is plenty of work. If you're ready for more, we'll bend the right elbow, plant the right elbow on the ground, spin the heels to the right, lift the left hand to the sky, side dolphin plank, right forearm down, left arm up, reach the left arm up and over for a big stretch. And then bend the left forearm, bringing yourself back into dolphin plank. Surprise! Lengthen from the back heel to the crown, keeping the chin slightly tucked. On your exhalation, roll the heels to the left, right hand to the sky. Reach the right hand up and over. Spin the right hand to the ground now, and then come onto the left hand plank. Shift forward, lower halfway. Draw the heart forward, upward dog, and find downward dog. Spread your fingers wide. Take up space in the hands to root down and build a foundation for this introspective pose. Lift up your toes and spread them wide and set them back down. Exhale, left leg in the sky. Right heel sinks. Left knee bends. We stack. Opening up the side body. Bring into the hands. And then exhale, ease the left toward the elbow into plank. I use the word like ease. Does it make it easier? Send the left leg up into the sky. And then sweep the left foot between the hands. Walk the hands around to the long edge of the mat in a wide angle forward fold. Tuck your hands together and behind the head, right at the base of the skull. Big leg stretch. Steer your left elbow forward, your right elbow back in a little twist here. You can tuck your right elbow towards your right thigh or knee and send left elbow forward. Then come back to center. Left knee toward, left elbow toward left knee, right arm. And then back to center. Release the hands to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Heel and toe a little bit in for some control. Thumbs come into those hip creases. And then rise all the way up 5 points. Start getting up some strength. Open up. Turn your left toes out toward the short edge of the mat. Sink into a warrior two. And then inhale, float the arms up, turning palms up, turn toes back toward the long edge of the mat. Reach your hands up, clasp your hands, point up toward the, hugging your biceps toward your ears. And then exhale, release the hands down, turn your right toes up toward the short edge of the mat. Find your warrior two. Root down into the long edge of that back foot, and then inhale, flip your palms and reach your hands up to the sky, turn your toes toward the long edge of the mat. Bring your hands into temples. Your pointers are pointing up, the rest of your hands are clasped. Lift, lift, lift up. And then exhale, release the hands behind the back. Hold your elbows for a moment and lean back just for a little back bend. Exhale, come up. On an inhalation, sweep the arms up. Soften your knees and we'll take a swan dive into a forward fold and walk the hands back around that left foot. From here, step your right foot up next door to your left foot. Release the crown of the head. Bring your first two fingers around the big toe and press the big toes down into the fingers. Bend your knees a lot if you need to. And then begin to release the crown of the head. Pull up on the toes, press down with the toes. Broaden the space between the scapulas. One more breath. Inhale, release the toes, find chair pose. So bend the knees, sit down in that imaginary chair that's not there. So our thighs are parallel, we can still see our toes in front of our knees. And from here in chair pose, press the air away, float hands to heart center. Rock your weight a little side to side. We're gonna step our right foot across our left. Left shoulder, left hand comes to right shoulder, right hand comes to left shoulder. So this is like an easy does it version of eagle, but just imagine this going inward. Close your eyes for a breath. Appreciating your whole form, for all that it can do. And then on your inhalation, ease your eyes open your eyes, step out wide, take up some space. You haven't been able to do that much in the last year, take it up. And then exhale, we'll step our right foot back onto the mat, hands come to heart, remembering your intention. Inhale, step your left foot across the right, and right hand to left shoulder, left hand over top. So just easy does it, eagle pose. Root down into the feet, lengthen through the crown. Close your eyes for a moment, appreciate your whole journey. Crappy stuff, challenging stuff, really great stuff. It all makes you who you are. So one more breath here, appreciating. And then exhale, ease the eyes open and step right out, take up that space, five-pointed star. And then inhale, step everything back in, hands at heart, remembering your intention. On an inhalation, bend the knees a lot, bring the fingertips to tap the floor, if possible, not necessary. Reach the arms up and set your gaze on the floor. Draw your biceps back alongside the ears. And then when you're ready, we'll press the air away, find hands floating to heart center. So we come back and again to this intention, this going inward. And then on an inhalation, let's lift our right knee. You need to find a wall for some balance, or a table or a chair, feel free to do that. And from here, simply step your foot back into a lunge. Nice wide lunge. We'll keep that ball of the foot off the ground behind us if possible. So go as deep as feels okay to you. And then once you get there, bring the hands to the hips. Shift that left hip slightly back, right hip slightly forward. It may draw a little bend into the right knee, and that's okay. So from here, inhale the arms up. Reach out through the fingertips. Root down through the feet. Feel the power drawing up through your feet into the body. Feel your balance and your muscles engaging. And from here, sweep your right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand to the low back. So we're in this upright twist to start. You can stay right here if you like, or begin to sink down into any version of the twist that makes sense to your body today. So once you arrive here, no matter which version you're in, you can play with shifting forward onto the ball of the back foot and then shifting back into the heel. Just play with that gentle rocking motion. We're in a balance and we're adding movement. It's a lot. And we're in a twist. So you could say this is another going inward pose because it's an inward twist. So you can set your gaze on the ground to make this balance portion a little easier. You might walk your left foot a little bit farther to the left to make your foundation a little broader. And then as you're ready, we'll open the arms if you like, nice and broad. Maybe bringing the right hand to the ground, maybe not. And then exhale, spin the right hand over to the right side of the mat, left hand to the outside of the left foot. Draw the right knee to the ground and rise up in the low lunge. Lift the heart. Bring the hands to clasp behind the head, wide open. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Press the head into the hands into the head. Lift the elbows a little more. And on your exhale, sweep the hands back to the ground. Lift the right knee, and we'll step the right foot up next door to the left foot, releasing the weight of the head. Just hang in standing forward bend. On an inhalation, bring your fingertips to your shins and come up halfway. On your exhalation, fold in. Inhale, tap the ground, bend the knees, chair pose. Exhale, mountain. Thumbs tap the sternum. Rock your weight a little side to side. Notice the difference in the two sides of the body. Inhale, begin to shift the weight into the right foot, lifting the left foot off the ground. On an exhalation, begin to step that left foot back behind the body into crescent legs. And once you've established the width between the legs and feet that feels okay to you, finding your edge, inhale the arms up. Explore your edge here, broad across the collarbones. Smoothing out the breath. Soften that back knee if you need to protect your low back and square the hips a little bit. Left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand to low back. So you can stay in this upright twist. This is plenty. Focus there on rolling the right shoulder back. Turning more and more to the right. You're ready to dip lower, sink toward the left elbow. Maybe bringing the right hand to the left, playing with the twist. So once we get here, set your gaze either down at the floor or up at the ceiling, and then play with shifting forward in the ball of the back foot, and then shifting back into the heel. Just flexing that ankle a little bit, adding a little movement to our balance. Staying here or maybe opening the arms. And then right hand comes down, left hand comes over to the left. From here, left knee comes to the ground. We rise up in the low lunge. Add the back bend maybe. Hands come to clasp behind the head. Press the head into the hands into the head. Finding your edge. Lift the elbows a little more. Shift hips forward a little more. On your exhalation, we'll unwind. Hands to the ground. Lift the left knee. Step the left foot up next door to the right. Walk your feet to the long edges of your mat. Release the weight of your head. Rock your weight side to side, bending one knee and then the other. Wrap your hands behind the thighs, the shins, the ankles, wherever they are landing, and gently pull the back of your legs toward you. Soften your knees. And then inhale, begin to bend the knees. In a squat maybe, and then on your inhalation, we're gonna come into a wide-legged chair, so let your toes move out a little farther if you need to, and then press the air away, coming up into mountain pose. Walk your feet in toward the midline. Pedaling out any tension in the legs. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, easy swan dive. Inhale, chair. Sit down deep. Exhale, mountain. Thumbs to sternum. Inhale, sweep the arms down to go up. Swan dive. Inhaling, chair. Exhaling, mountain. Thumbs tap the sternum. Remember your intention. Inhale, arms down to go up. Last time, tuck the belly button toward the spine, swan dive. And then inhale back into chair. Pause for a breath. Find mountain. Rock your weight a little side to side. Now, shake out any tension. We're gonna move into eagle pose. So, it's a balance if you need something to rest a finger on. Or if you'd rather work the upper part of the body than the legs, that's fine too. We'll start with the legs, building a foundation, but feel free to skip that if you need to. So from here, bend the knees, find your chair pose. Bring your hands to the heart. Come on to the ball of the right foot and step the right foot across the left so that the knees are crossed. And you can practice the way we did before, standing tall with just the ankles crossed too. So stay here or find your focal point and maybe wrap the ankle around the back of the other leg, maybe not. Now, if you just want to practice the upper body, skip all of that. Send the right arm out in front, left elbow inside, and wrap into eagle arms. Lift the elbows to shoulder height. Now remember, all the choices are here. That was an awesome distraction. That was awesome. Everybody stayed up. Good job. One breath. Let the elbows move away from the body. And then inhale, open up, take up some space, step out in five-pointed star. Reach out through the fingers and then root down into the feet. Soften your knees a little and fold forward. The hands come to the legs wherever they land or the feet. And release. Big bow. Good job, you. And on your next exhalation, bend your knees a lot. Rock your weight a little side to side. Bring your hands up to your thighs. Pointing the elbows toward the ceiling. You can squeeze out the scapulas a little bit here. Wring them out. And then come up. Kind of like goddess pose. And we'll step that right foot back over to the left. We'll sumo step. Hands come together at the heart, reminding you of your intention. Fingertips tap the ground, maybe for chair, maybe not. Finding your edge. Floating hands to heart. Root into the right foot, lift onto the ball of the left, step the left foot across. This can be plenty. Or again, you can just cross at the ankles. Remove competition, remove expectation. Maybe you want to wrap the ankle around behind, maybe not. Left arm comes out in front, right elbow inside. Find eagle arms. Lift the elbows to shoulder height and pull the hands slightly away from the face. Spread your fingers wide, opening up that space between the scapulas. Down deep. On your next inhalation, unwind, open wide, back out into 5-point star. Float the hands to the heart. Rooted down in the feet now, and the hands behind the back. You can hold the elbows, clasp the wrists, or bring the hands to namaste on the back, whatever feels just right to you. Take a little back bend, and then into a forward fold. Bowing in, big bow at this awesome pose. Just tackled. And then, when you're ready, release the hands toward the earth. From here, walk your left foot back over next door to your right, plant the palms on the ground, and step back to plank. Knees can be down, obviously. Can also be on fists if you like here instead of on the palms. One more breath. Roll the heels to the right with the left hand to the sky. Open up. Look down at your right hand and play with maybe just walk your left foot forward toward the body out on the side of the mat onto the toes. Stay right here, planting the left foot in front of the right thigh, or you can play with lifting the left leg to a big 5-pointed star here. And when you're ready, sink that top leg and the left hand back to the ground. Forearm plank or dolphin plank.
Good form, Mom. Thanks. She likes her planks. And she talks like this, just do your thing. And I'm like, hello.
Wait, is it just you two?
No, there's another person up there, Eileen, and then there are people in the room, I think, at the Ribby.
Oh, I didn't forget you. Exhale your hips to the ground. Sink toe. Untuck the toes, roll the shoulders back. Lengthen through the crown. Sink your chest to the ground, walk your hands back next to the chest. Rise up into plank pose.
Oh, cool.
Roll the heels to the left. Right hand to the sky. Stay here, or begin to bend your right knee, tap the right toe to the front of your left thigh, maybe. More play.
How's your
Lifting that right foot. Maybe some of the go is high, or maybe you haven't had a stage next makes it look really easy. One more breath. And then on your exhale, ease yourself back down. Downward dog.
the parts out, but you can see there's still
One more breath.
parts out to clean the back. Yeah.
Hands and
That looks good. I think you're from the top, swinging down to the back.
chair pose.
What'd you cook up top? Anything?
Hands to heart. Right footsteps across left. Move into your eagle legs, whatever that may be. Right elbow out in front, left elbow inside, wrapping. Take a deep breath in, root down into the standing foot. Exhale, belly button towards spine and play. This idea of folding the elbows to the knees. Tucking belly button in. Easy does it. Inhale when you're ready, rising up and unwind, step out. Pat yourself on the back, go me. And then step everything back. Chair pose. Sink it down, hands to heart. Left steps across to right. Find your eagle. Ease into your version of eagle legs for this moment. Left elbow in front, right elbow inside. And then play with the fold. First, elongate the spine. Exhale, belly button toward the spine. And then fold. On an inhalation, unwind up and out. If you get dizzy, bring one hand over the bridge of the nose and the forehead. Step yourself back. Hands to heart. Sweep the arms down to go up. Fold. Walk your hands forward and your feet back. Plank pose. Find your edge. Bring your right knee forward to the spot between both hands. Sit down on your right hip. Spin the left leg around front. First, tuck the left foot on the outside of the right thigh. If you can get the whole foot down, if it's torqued to the side, bring it to the inside of the shin. So the right knee came forward and the left leg came around. Yep. So first, we're going to come into a twist. Right elbow clasps left knee, left hand behind. Begin to first allow your chin and your back to sort of sink in, just sort of collapse a little. And take a deep breath, rooting into that back hand and unwind or wind deeper into the twist, I suppose. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Open the left shoulder. This all the way down the left hip, maybe. On an exhalation, unwind the torso, let go of this leg. We're going to take a hold of the left ankle. And this is not a forcing thing. We can stay right here if you want to. If you're ready for more, you can pull it back, stacking the knees, maybe, maybe not, holding onto the feet. So we're moving into cow face pose. Pausing here, letting that left hip drop a little bit. Lengthen through the crown. Now, since our left leg is on top, our right hand's going to reach up and pat us on the back. Left hand comes to the right armpit and push up on this muscle. Push up all the way to the elbow, and then clasp the elbow into the palm of the hand. Pull up with the fingertips, keep the head in line with spine, like you're squeezing a lemon into that palm. And just rock a little side to side. Get some suppleness in the torso. And then, when you're ready, unwind the left hand, spin it behind, and maybe take a hold of the right hand, maybe not. Just press the hands into the back or use the strap. Exhale, chin toward chest, unwind the arms, tuck the right elbow under the left elbow, eagle arms. Turn your head in both directions, just feeling into what's there. On your exhalation, unwind the arms. We'll pick up this left leg and send it behind. Press the palms down, lift that right knee in toward the chest, round the knee toward the nose, and plank, and step the right foot back to plank pose. Extend the, spin the right leg around, planting the right foot to the outside of the left thigh or the inside, depending on what it will do. Make space for this right hip to come down. Give it a moment to settle. And then left elbow wraps around the right knee, right hand comes behind. And then just allow your spine to round, your chin comes towards your chest. Collapsing. And then root into the right hand, take a deep breath in. Exhaling, now release the twist. And remember not to force, but take a hold of this left hand of the right ankle and maybe stack the knees, holding onto the feet for a moment. So right hand to left armpit, push up on this outer muscle, push all the way up toward the elbow, and then wring it out like it's a sponge or squeezing a lemon into the fingertips, pulling up on that outer flesh of the arm. Head stays in line with spine. And once you've arrived, we'll unwind that right hand, spin it behind the back, slide it up, maybe not, maybe use a strap, maybe they don't touch. Maybe they only will on one side. Maybe this side isn't happening, that's okay. Just press the hands into the back, but keep the head in line with your spine. Exhale, unwind. Left elbow under right. Lift the eagle arms up. Bend your head in both directions. Unwind. Place the hands on the ground behind you. Unwind the legs. Plant the feet on the ground. And sit up tall in staff pose. Plant the palms on the ground behind you or next to you. Root down, lengthen up through the crown. Flex the feet and open the toes. Roll your shoulders back. Walk your hands back about 4 or 5 inches-ish. Press down into the hands. Lift the front body, rolling the toes maybe toward the ground. Upward facing plank. Exhale, sink the hips. And come lying down onto the ground, take up some space. You can come right down into 5-point star if you like. Cover up, we're moving into Shavasana, whatever it is that you need. Cover your eyes around some socks. Allow your shoulders to spread along the ground. And then windshield wipe your feet a little bit side to side to release. And bring some mobility into where the femurs insert into the hips. And release the shoulders. You can flop your hands side to side a little bit too if you like. And then turn your head a little side to side. On an exhalation, draw the knees into the chest. Give them a big hug with your arms, nose up toward the knees, and rock on that mid-back. One deep breath in, and as you exhale, open back out into this reclined 5-point star. Take up some space and allow this moment of total relaxation. So as you breathe in, a smooth, deep breath, see the breath nourishing every cell of your head, your face, ears, softening every muscle. And then as you exhale, see it taking with it anything that needs to go. Breathing in Soften the throat and the chest and the arms. Breathing out, see anything that needs to go, just leaving right through your fingertips. Breathing in, nourishing the belly and the solar plexus, the low back, the hips. And exhaling, see everything go out through the legs and down through the toes. Surrender completely. Gently now begin to introduce a deep, deep breath. Sigh it out through the mouth. Wiggle fingers and wiggle toes. Bending your knees, place the feet on the floor. Draw your arm up next to your right ear along the ground and make your way to your right side, using your right arm as a pillow for one more breath there. And then gently press in your top hand. Rise to a comfortable seated position. Exhale, chin toward chest. Inhale, blink the eyes open. Exhale, let your shoulders sink, chin sink. Inhale, arms and gaze reach up. Exhale, circle hands to heart. Namaste.